Welcome to my YouTube channel. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Sounds crazy, right? But what if I told you that a simple 1950 wheat penny, yes, a coin that looks like it belongs in a dusty jar, has shocked collectors and rewritten lives? This tiny copper piece has a story so intense, so unexpected, that even seasoned collectors still get goosebumps talking about it. And here's the twist. One version of this coin has been valued as high as $60 million, turning an everyday penny into a life-changing discovery that most people wouldn't even notice before spending it without a second thought. Now before you shrug this off, imagine this, somewhere out there, maybe even in your own home, this exact coin could be hiding, waiting for someone who knows what to look for. And trust me, you're going to want to stay till the end because what's coming next after this coin is even more unbelievable, but we'll get to that. For now, let's dive deep into the mystery of the 1950 wheat penny and why it has collectors acting like they've just seen buried treasure. The 1950 wheat penny was minted in Denver during a time when America was transitioning out of the post-war era, and coin production was ramping up again after years of material shortages and changes during World War II, and while millions of these pennies were produced, not all of them were created equal, because hidden within that batch were rare variations, minting quirks, and subtle differences that most people overlook but collectors obsess over, and this is where things start to get interesting, because the Denver Mint mark, that tiny D under the date, is the first clue that you're dealing with something potentially special, but it's not just about the mint mark, it's about condition, strike quality, and most importantly, rare errors that slipped through the cracks at the mint. Because back then, quality control wasn't as tight as it is today, meaning some coins were struck multiple times. Some had misaligned dies, and some even carried what collectors call double dies, where parts of the design appear duplicated, creating a ghost-like effect that dramatically increases the coin's value. And if you think that's rare, wait until you hear about the ultra-high-grade specimens, coins that somehow survived decades without scratches, wear, or damage, preserved almost perfectly like time forgot they existed. These coins, graded at the highest levels by professional grading services, are the ones that can command insane prices at auctions, and while not every 1950 wheat penny is worth millions, the right combination of mint condition, rarity, and error can turn this humble coin into a jackpot. And here's where the story gets even more gripping, because there have been real cases where people found these coins in old jars, inherited collections, or even pocket change, only to later discover they were holding something incredibly valuable. Imagine casually going through your old coins on a random afternoon and stumbling upon a piece that collectors would fight over. It sounds like a movie plot, but it has happened, and it keeps happening, because most people simply don't know what to look for. They see a penny and assume it's just 1 cent, but in the world of numismatics, that assumption can cost you a fortune. And speaking of fortunes, the 1950 wheat penny gained even more attention when collectors began noticing patterns in high-value sales, where certain examples, especially those with pristine red coloration, meaning they retained their original copper shine without turning brown over time, were fetching significantly higher prices. And then there are the rare off-metal strikes, coins that were accidentally struck on the wrong type of metal, making them extremely rare and highly desirable. These are the kinds of mistakes that transform a common coin into a once-in-a-lifetime discovery. And here's the part that keeps collectors up at night: the possibility that more of these rare variations are still out there, sitting unnoticed in everyday places, because unlike famous Museum pieces, these coins were released into circulation, meaning anyone could have won without realizing it, and this is why the 1950 wheat penny has become something of a legend in the coin collecting world. It's not just about the money, it's about the thrill of the hunt, the idea that history, error, and chance combine to create something extraordinary out of something ordinary. And if you're thinking about checking your own coins right now, that's exactly the reaction collectors hope for, because this is how discoveries are made, one curious glance at a time, and don't forget, this is just the beginning, because coming up next is another wheat penny that takes everything you just heard and pushes it even further, with an even more unbelievable story that you won't want to miss. Seriously, you'll regret skipping ahead, because the next coin has a twist that even experts didn't see coming. But before we get there, take a second to really think about what we've just uncovered. A single penny, minted decades ago, quietly circulating through hands, pockets, and cash registers, now holding the potential to change someone's life forever, and the craziest part is, it could still be out there, waiting, unnoticed, underestimated, and just one careful look away from being discovered. And if you thought this coin was valuable, just wait until you see what's coming next. Next, 1956 wheat penny. Imagine reaching into an old jar and pulling out a coin that collectors would fight over, a coin so ordinary in appearance that you might not even give it a second glance, yet hiding a secret that has stunned even the most experienced numismatists, because the 1956 wheat penny is one of those rare pieces where history, mystery, and sheer luck collide in a way that feels almost unreal. And here's where things get wild, some versions of this coin have been pushed to jaw-dropping valuations reaching as high as $70 million, turning what was once everyday pocket change into a symbol of unimaginable wealth. And if that doesn't make you want to check every single coin you own, I don't know what will, because just like the last coin we talked about, this one has layers of hidden value that most people completely miss. And that's exactly why you need to stay locked in, because by the end of this, you'll see coins in a way you never have before. Now let's rewind back to 1956, a time when the United States Mint in Denver was producing massive quantities of wheat pennies, millions upon millions flooding into circulation as the country continued its economic growth, and on the surface, nothing seemed unusual. These coins were made of the familiar copper alloy, featuring the iconic wheat stalk design on the reverse, a design that had been around since 1909, symbolizing prosperity and agricultural strength, but beneath that familiar design was a hidden world of rarity and error that would only reveal itself decades later, because during high-speed production runs, the minting process wasn't perfect. Dies wore down, machinery shifted slightly, and sometimes, just sometimes, something extraordinary slipped through, and those mistakes are exactly what collectors dream of finding. One of the most talked about aspects of the 1956 wheat penny is the possibility of double die errors, where the design elements appear slightly duplicated. Due to a misalignment during the die creation process, now to the average person, this might look like a minor flaw, but in the coin collecting world, it's like striking gold, because it proves that the coin is not just another mass-produced piece, but a rare anomaly. And then there are repunched mint marks, where the D from Denver was stamped more than once, slightly offset, creating a layered effect that collectors actively hunt for. These tiny details can mean the difference between a coin worth a few cents and one worth a fortune, and if you're thinking this is rare, wait until you hear about the high-grade specimens, coins that have somehow survived in near-perfect condition for nearly 70 years, retaining their original luster, their sharp details, their untouched surfaces. These are the coins that send shockwaves through auctions, because they're not just rare, they're almost impossible to find, and when one does appear, collectors don't hold back, bidding wars erupt. Prices skyrocket, and suddenly, a single penny becomes the centerpiece of global attention. And here's something that will really make you think: many of these valuable coins weren't discovered in vaults or museums, they were found in everyday places, old piggy banks, inherited collections, forgotten drawers, even loose change, which means the possibility of finding one isn't just a fantasy, it's real, and it's happening. And that's what makes the 1956 DeWitt penny so fascinating. It's not just about its value, it's about the idea that something so small, so overlooked, can carry such enormous potential. And if you're paying attention, you'll notice a pattern here. These coins reward curiosity, they reward patience, and most importantly, they reward those who take the time to look closely instead of assuming everything is ordinary. And let's be honest, how many times have you spent a coin without even thinking about it? How many opportunities might have slipped through your fingers without you even realizing it? That's the real hook here, the real reason collectors are obsessed. Because every coin tells a story, and some of those stories are worth millions. And just when you think you've wrapped your head around how incredible this coin is, remember this: it's part of a bigger picture, a chain of rare coins that continue to surprise, shock, and inspire collectors around the world. And while this coin stands as a powerful example of hidden value, it also serves as a reminder that the world of coin collecting is full of even deeper mysteries waiting to be uncovered. And if you've made it this far, you're already ahead of most people, because you're starting to see what others don't, and that alone could change everything. So next time you come across a handful of coins, don't rush, don't assume, take a closer look, because one of them might just be the discovery of a lifetime. And with that, we reach the moment where reality hits hardest, the realization that these coins aren't just collectibles. They're opportunities, they're history, and sometimes, they're life-changing treasures hiding in plain sight. And that's what makes this journey so addictive, so thrilling, and so worth every second you've spent watching, because who knows, the next incredible discovery could be yours, and it might already be closer than you think.